was that? There she is. She sees you. She's coming. Where'd she go? Careful. Careful. Hello, Princess. Are you ready to play a game? Welcome back to God's basement.
James, it's been a while since our last encounter. That was a lot of information to absorb. I hope you got most of it, but I'll try to summarize the best that I can. You were trying your hardest to get by high school while also taking care of your grandmother, along with holding a part-time job. At the end of high school, you had amazing grades and received a full-ride scholarship. The only problem was you would have to leave your grandmother to attend college. She raised you all by herself after your parents passed away. It tore you up inside, knowing that you would have to abandon her to move forward in your life. Slowly but surely, her condition kept deteriorating, to the point where it was an extreme burden to provide care for her. You had to make a choice, abandon her and move on with your life, or throw away a full-ride scholarship and sacrifice your potential to take care of her. Are you ready to find out what choice you made? This is kind of exciting, isn't it? Well, I won't make you wait any longer. You chose to stay. You felt that it would be wrong to abandon her, especially when she needed you the most. She took care of you when you were abandoned, right? You were just returning the favor. If you haven't noticed, this area represents your old job. The one you worked while taking care of your grandmother after you graduated. First thing you should probably do is sign in. Enter the door to your left and find your ID card. I'll speak to you soon. Good luck.
I wonder if you're alone. $50. Are you actually going to have to work? I can't think of anything more scary than that. This must be the real God's basement.
Are you having fun organizing those boxes? Are those boxes heavy? It must get pretty tiring doing this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Does it get tiring? Doing this job day after day, only to come home having to care for your elderly grandmother. Do you ever feel regret? Maybe you should have just taken the scholarship and ran off. Think of all the potential you wasted. Was it worth it? Doing the same thing every single day. Are you anxiously waiting to get home, or do you find this job more tedious than taking care of her? It might seem like I'm trying to belittle you, but I'm just relaying the thoughts you had at the time. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? Sacrificing the future for the present. Sacrificing all that potential to have a clear conscience. Was it worth it? Wow, great job, James. Are you ready to start all over again tomorrow?
That nearly took forever. house. Is Grandma here? Or are you alone? I wonder what the hammer's for. I hear her. Is she inside? Will that hold her? List of chores. I guess we better do what it says. First, clean up your mess. I wonder what that knife is for. More broken dishes. Hopefully you won't have to use that knife for anything. Too bad. Is it time for bed? I guess the only thing left to do is to turn out all the lights. Awfully dark. Are you sure you're alone? Are you sure there's no one here with you? What happens when you turn out all the lights? Good thing you have that flashlight still. Yes, best to shut the door. Sleep tight. Footsteps. Who's there? Is that her? Can you move? Is she trying to get in? Don't you want to answer the door? She wants in. Good thing you boarded up the door, right? She's inside. The door behind you. Where'd she go? She's in the house somewhere. Quickly find her before she finds you. What was that? There she is. She sees you. She's coming. Where'd she go? Careful. Careful. I still hear her. She go down in the basement. Where'd she go?
Pain. Are you full of it? Patience. Are you out of it? James, when will your suffering end? You wanted her to die, didn't you? Not for her sake, but for your own. You yearned for her death, not because her suffering would cease. It was because yours would cease as well.
Are you lost in your own house? How are you going to get out?
Do you feel the resentment pulsating through your veins? Do you feel the last breath of patience exiting your body? Do you feel the rage welling up, overflowing, displacing empathy, sympathy, and love? Do you hear it? It's calling you. A way out. Follow it. Let it guide you.
Where are we now?
While sifting through some old boxes, you found an interesting set of documents that revealed the truth about your past. Your grandparents were involved in an accident that killed your grandfather and your infant brother. It wasn't your grandmother's fault entirely, but your parents couldn't help but put the blame on her. With no family or friends left, living a hopeless and bleak existence, your grandmother decided to murder them. With your parents out of the way, she could raise you all by herself. Her desire was selfish and evil. That was all you needed. A way to justify her death, a way to break the burden of taking care of her. Do you remember what you did? I'll walk you through it once more, just in case you've forgotten.
What did you do? rising red. What are you going to do? This must be your grandmother's room. Is she here? Where is she? I'm talking to you. Are you listening to me? I know that I might seem suspicious, but for now, I'm going to need you to trust me. Are you in pain? Do you want that pain to go away? I can show you a way out, but you're going to have to do exactly what I say. Don't worry, very soon you won't feel any pain at all. You won't have to suffer any longer. The first thing I want you to do is to grab the knife on your bed. You're doing a great job. It's very sharp, so please be careful with it. The next step is to gently press the knife against your stomach. You're doing a wonderful job. Now, press a little harder. Keep applying more pressure until the knife penetrates the flesh of your stomach. You might feel quite a bit of pain, but that's going to be temporary. You're doing a great job. I want you to pull the knife out. Is there a warm, red fluid gushing out of your stomach? If so, then you applied enough pressure. I know that this might be painful, but pretty soon it's going to be all over. I want you to repeat the process, except now go a little to the right of the original spot. Keep applying pressure until the knife penetrates the flesh. Now that you've done the process twice, for the third time, go to the left of the original spot. Once again, keep applying pressure until the knife penetrates the flesh. You're doing a great job. Now return to the original spot. I want you to jab the knife into the wound 3 times. This time, don't slowly apply pressure. I want you to press the knife into your stomach as hard as you can. Whenever you're ready, go ahead. You're doing a wonderful job. Are you in pain? Are you suffering? I know you are, but don't worry, it'll all go away soon. This is the last step. Are you ready? All you have to do is to repeat the process, except this time, press the knife against your neck. Whenever you're ready, just swiftly thrust the knife into your neck. Then very soon, all the pain will go away. That's it. Let it all go. Pass on into the next world, wherever that might be. Goodbye. I can guarantee you will not be missed.
James, you murdered her. You knew about her delusions. She always talked about the man in the radio, so you decided to become that character. You replaced the old radio and then played an audio file telling her to stab herself repeatedly with a knife. You knew she was delusional and had episodes of schizophrenia. She followed your instructions and eventually bled to death due to her self-inflicted injuries. Since all the evidence pointed to a suicide, you weren't charged with anything. You finally got what you wanted. You were finally free. You might be wondering how exactly you ended up dead. Well, for the first few months, you lived your life carefree. You actually enjoyed life to some extent, not being tied down by an ill relative. But eventually, that all came crashing down. It started off with brief, horrific, gruesome nightmares. Visions of her stabbing herself endlessly, blood gushing out of her wounds, flooding your mind with blood-red guilt. Slowly, these nightmares leaked into your daily life. You'd see her out of the corner of your eye, whether you were driving, walking down the street, or at work. Even though you killed her, she never really left. She lived in your mind and haunted you every day until you eventually couldn't fall asleep. Every time you closed your eyes, even for the briefest of moments, she'd manifest in your subconscious. Eventually you went to the hospital and you were prescribed sleep medicine, but that only suppressed the issue. Slowly your body adjusted to the medicine and you needed to increase the dose for the medicine to be effective. This process kept repeating until you were taking multiple times the recommended amount. You were addicted until one night you overdosed on sleep medication. Right now, in this moment, your physical body is currently in a hospital bed, hovering between the thin line of life and death. You're still probably wondering why you're here in God's basement. I'll finally tell you who I am and what this place really is. God's basement is a realm for those who have committed great sin but are still redeemable. The individuals that arrive in God's basement relive their own versions of hell, allowing them to reflect on their life and watch their slow descent into evil. Their resentment, hate, bitterness, and jealousy accumulate until those emotions manifest themselves through atrocious acts, yours being murder. You were backed into a corner, watching your life slowly pass you by. All those opportunities you sacrificed. All that potential wasted. You became bitter and resentful. Many could sympathize with you. Many might have even done the same. You were hopeless, and it felt like you were inside a living hell. I am called the Operator. I am an entity that manifests in God's basement. I manifest myself in different ways depending on the person. My job is to guide the person inside God's basement and allow them to relive their life from a different perspective. In your case, I manifested with many characteristics resembling the man in the radio. Hopefully this explanation cleared everything up. You're still probably wondering what happens now that you have all your memories. I mentioned earlier that God's basement are for those who are still redeemable. Even though you committed an atrocious sin, you were trapped in a hopeless existence. Also, the person you killed wasn't really your grandmother. She was a shell of her former self. Your grandmother died long ago. Part of you wanted to see her suffering cease. Your crime was both cruel and merciful at the same time. You are going to get a second chance at life. Pretty soon you're going to wake up in a hospital bed out of your drug-induced coma. Learn to live with what you did. The feelings of guilt, paranoia, and pain will never completely go away. James, make the most out of life and be grateful for this second chance. One last thing. Good luck.
Well done, Princess. It looks like you escaped God's basement. For now. Thanks for playing.